We often talk about this generation that you guys are portraying as America's greatest generation. Really curious, how would you describe each of your individual characters in this film?
I had I've never done a role before that I really got to sort of look into my family tree and not like evaluate, but you know, my grandfather was stationed in the Philippines at this time, and I wasn't, by the time he passed away, you know, we'd never got to have a conversation as an adult of what he went through, what he endured, if he was a hero like Louis was, and so much of this stuff. And this was the first time that somebody like John Fitzgerald, Commander John Fitzgerald, when I read about him and then was given his diary of his accounts of the POW camps, all the punishments and everything, I saw such a similarity in his soul that resembled my grandfather. And when I had lost all the weight and put the fatigues on and we went to shoot these days, my aunt had sent me pictures of my grandfather and my grandma back then, and we looked identical. So this was something, I mean, I've always kind of, I always called it the don't talk about it's generation, because my grandfather and others his age and in my town would never speak of what they'd went through. And there's something very admirable about that. They didn't want to put those visions in anybody else's heads, and they wanted to come back and have a family and provide and work the land. And you know, it's the generation I romanticize the most about. If I could ever be in one, it'd be.
Yeah, me too. I think Mac is he does actually resort to showing emotion, which I think speaks to how much he was going through that like he probably never did before, maybe in his life. You know, I've always thought of Mac as sort of a child inside. You know, I remember Louis saying that he sort of had to be kind of a father figure to him, that he had to sort of take care of him because he was sort of inwardly fragile. Like if he criticized him, he would sort of crumble really quickly. But then again, he was also like, he was always out and about and like off drinking and, you know, like having a good time. He was always looking for stimulation. And so when he's on the raft and like he's in the middle of nowhere, he seeks that stimulation in the rations, the chocolate. You know?
Absolutely.
And I think that, you know, after doing that, which by the way, like you're not supposed to do that. Like, I mean, your stomach's not supposed to be able to handle that much chocolate. Yeah, but that leads him sort of like, you know, that makes him incredibly guilty, and then his body just crumbles, you know, after that. Yeah.
Wow. Real quick, the intensity of the scenes on the raft, and I mean, we know it was 47 days for Louis. In shooting that, what was that like? I mean, was that nerve-wracking on the sea?
It was yeah, nerve-wracking. It was more like we just gotta like, you know, we gotta push ourselves, you know, we gotta like stay the course and like and really try to imagine what it was like, because like, you know, there's crew guys around, there's like real stuff around, and we had to like put ourselves in the open water with no one around us, and so yeah, it's a lot of imagination.
Beautiful.
But,